The story of why Abraham Lincoln is on the U.S. penny begins in the early 20th century, during a transformative period for American coinage. Before 1909, U.S. coins predominantly featured allegorical figures like Lady Liberty rather than actual historical figures, following a tradition rooted in classical European aesthetics. The reasoning behind this was to avoid any perception of glorifying individuals in a manner reminiscent of European monarchies. However, this long-standing tradition began to shift during the presidency of Theodore Roosevelt, a man with a deep appreciation for art and history who believed American coins should reflect the nation's greatness. Roosevelt famously called U.S. coins, artistically of atrocious hideousness, and spearheaded efforts to redesign several denominations, transforming them into symbols of national pride. Although he had successfully reimagined gold coins with the help of sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens, the penny had yet to be updated. The opportunity to redesign the penny arose with the approach of 1909, which marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Lincoln, known for his leadership during the Civil War and his role in ending slavery, was already a beloved figure in American history. Roosevelt saw the centennial as a fitting occasion to honor Lincoln by placing his likeness on the nation's smallest denomination. This decision was groundbreaking. No real person had ever appeared on a circulating U.S. coin before. Roosevelt commissioned Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor and medalist, to design the new penny. Brenner was renowned for his talent in portraiture and had recently impressed Roosevelt with a plaque of Lincoln that captured the president's dignified and thoughtful expression. Brenner's design for the penny featured Lincoln's right-facing profile on the obverse, surrounded by the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty, and the Year of Minting." On the reverse side, two simple wheat stalks framed the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, along with the Latin motto, E pluribus unum. This design became known as the wheat penny. The public reaction to the release of the Lincoln penny on August 2, 1909, was overwhelmingly positive. People lined up at banks to obtain the new coin, and many praised the decision to honor Lincoln, who symbolized unity, resilience, and moral integrity. However, the penny was not without controversy. Traditionalists criticized the break from classical imagery, fearing it was a step toward glorifying individuals. Additionally, Brenner's initials, VDB, which appeared prominently at the bottom of the reverse, sparked debate. Critics argued that the initials were too conspicuous, leading the U.S. Mint to remove them from later issues. The initials were eventually restored in 1918 but in a smaller, more discreet location. The Lincoln penny became a symbol of national pride, serving as a reminder of the ideals Lincoln represented every time Americans reached into their pockets. The decision to place Lincoln on the penny was both a tribute to his leadership during the nation's darkest hours and a political statement about the values America wanted to carry forward into the 20th century. The Lincoln penny's introduction marked a turning point in American coinage, setting a precedent for future coins to feature real historical figures. In the next part of this series, we will explore how the Lincoln penny evolved over the decades, including the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959 and the modern shield design. In the previous part, we uncovered how the decision to place Lincoln on the U.S. penny in 1909 was a groundbreaking tribute to one of America's most beloved presidents. We also discussed the role of Theodore Roosevelt and the artistic contributions of Victor David Brenner, whose design of the Lincoln wheat penny became an instant symbol of national pride. In this part, we'll explore how the penny's design evolved over the decades, adapting to cultural, economic, and historical changes while retaining Lincoln's iconic image on the obverse side. The original wheat penny design remained in circulation from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the longest-running designs in American coin history. However, as time passed, public interest in refreshing the appearance of U.S. coins grew. By the late 1950s, the U.S. Mint decided it was time for a change. To commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse design of the penny was updated in 1959. The new design featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., replacing the two wheat stalks that had framed the denomination. This redesign was the work of Frank Gasparro, who would later become the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The Lincoln Memorial design was symbolic in its own right. It honored not only Lincoln's life and leadership but also the physical monument that had become a national symbol of respect and remembrance. One remarkable detail of the design is that, if you look closely at the center of the Lincoln Memorial on the penny, you can see a tiny depiction of the statue of Lincoln himself, a testament to Gasparro's attention to detail. The Lincoln Memorial penny became a staple of American currency and remained in production for 5 decades. During this time, the penny saw changes not just in design but also in composition. Rising metal prices in the 1970s and early 1980s made it increasingly expensive to produce pennies using the traditional composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a significant decision to switch the penny's composition to 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. This change reduced production costs while maintaining the coin's familiar appearance. Collectors often distinguish between copper and zinc 1982 pennies, as both types were minted that year. As the digital age advanced and inflation diminished the purchasing power of a penny, debates about its relevance began to surface. Economists and policymakers questioned whether it made sense to continue producing a coin that cost more to manufacture than its face value. Despite these concerns, the penny remained in circulation, thanks in part to its cultural and symbolic significance. The enduring image of Lincoln on the penny served as a reminder of his leadership, humility, and contributions to the nation. In 2009, the U.S. Mint celebrated the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln penny by issuing a series of 4 special reverse designs. Each design depicted a different phase of Lincoln's life, starting with his humble beginnings in Kentucky, followed by his formative years in Indiana, his career as a young lawyer in Illinois, and finally his presidency in Washington, D.C. This commemorative series was well received by collectors and history enthusiasts alike, offering a unique way to honor Lincoln's legacy. After the bicentennial celebration, the U.S. Mint introduced a new permanent reverse design in 2010, the Union Shield. Created by artist Lyndall Bass and sculptor Joseph Mena, this design features a simple but powerful image of a shield with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, topped by a horizontal bar symbolizing unity. The shield design was chosen to reflect Lincoln's role in preserving the Union during the Civil War, reinforcing his legacy as a unifier and protector of the nation. Despite the modern updates to its design, the penny continues to spark debate. Some argue that it has outlived its usefulness in an increasingly cashless society, while others view it as a cherished piece of American history. For many people, the penny is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of resilience, leadership, and the enduring values that Lincoln represented. In the next part of this series, we'll take a closer look at the controversies surrounding the penny, the arguments for and against its continued production, and the surprising ways it remains a part of American culture. So far, we've explored how Lincoln became the first historical figure to grace a U.S. coin, as well as the penny's design evolution from the wheat penny to the Lincoln Memorial and Union Shield designs. In this part, we'll discuss the cultural significance of the penny, its role in American traditions, and the controversies surrounding its continued production in modern times. The Lincoln penny holds a unique place in American culture. Beyond its practical use in everyday transactions, it's often seen as a symbol of thrift, humility, and the enduring values Lincoln embodied. The phrase, "a penny saved is a penny earned," commonly attributed to Benjamin Franklin, reinforces the cultural association between pennies and wise money management. Because of its low value, the penny has long been used in games, riddles, and learning tools for children. For instance, many schoolchildren learn how to count money using pennies, nickels, and dimes as teaching aids. Moreover, the penny has played a role in American superstitions and traditions. Finding a penny on the ground is often considered a sign of good luck, especially if it's found heads up. Many people keep a lucky penny in their wallets or purses as a small charm of prosperity. In weddings, it's traditional for brides to wear something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue, sometimes including a penny inside their shoe for good luck. The cultural impact of the penny, therefore, extends far beyond its face value as currency. However, the penny has also become a point of contention in recent years. One of the most significant debates surrounding the penny is whether it should continue to be minted at all. Critics argue that the penny has outlived its usefulness in a modern economy. Inflation has dramatically reduced its purchasing power. What a penny could buy in Lincoln's time would require more than $1 today. Because of this, the penny is often seen as more of a nuisance than a useful form of currency. In addition to its diminished economic utility, the cost of producing a penny exceeds its face value. According to estimates from the U.S. Mint, it costs about 2.5 cents to produce a single penny. This inefficiency has led to calls for its elimination, with some experts suggesting that rounding cash transactions to the nearest nickel, as Canada and several other countries have done, would be a more practical solution. Despite these arguments, there are many vocal supporters of keeping the penny. One of the primary reasons for this support is Lincoln himself. For over a century, the penny has served as a daily reminder of Lincoln's leadership, humility, and dedication to the principles of freedom and equality. Many Americans feel a sentimental attachment to the coin and believe that retiring it would dishonor Lincoln's legacy. Charitable organizations also argue that pennies play a crucial role in fundraising efforts. Penny drives, which encourage people to donate their spare change, have long been a staple of community fundraising campaigns. Beyond the economic and sentimental arguments, some advocates for the penny raise concerns about price inflation. They worry that eliminating the penny would lead to businesses rounding prices up rather than down, disproportionately affecting low-income consumers who rely on cash transactions. Proponents of keeping the penny also point out that the transition to a penny-free economy would require logistical adjustments for businesses and banks, which might face additional costs in recalibrating their systems. Interestingly, the penny has even found creative uses outside of traditional commerce. Artists and designers have used pennies to create stunning mosaics, countertops, and sculptures. These creative projects highlight the artistic potential of the coin, giving it new life as a medium for self-expression. Some businesses even incorporate pennies into their decor, creating eye-catching floors or displays made entirely of the iconic copper-colored coins. Despite the ongoing debate about the penny's future, it remains a cultural touchstone in American life. The image of Lincoln on the penny serves as a reminder of his profound impact on the nation and the values he stood for. Whether it continues to be minted or becomes a relic of the past, the penny's legacy will endure as a symbol of thrift, resilience, and the enduring importance of history. In the final part of this series, we'll take a look at rare and valuable Lincoln pennies, share tips for collectors, and discuss what the future might hold for this iconic coin. Welcome back to the final part of our series on the fascinating story behind the Lincoln penny. So far, we've explored how Abraham Lincoln became the first historical figure featured on a U.S. coin, the evolution of its design, and the cultural significance of this humble yet iconic coin. In this last part, we'll dive into the world of rare and valuable Lincoln pennies, share practical tips for collectors, and discuss what the future may hold for the penny as currency. Lincoln pennies have been in circulation for over a century, and during that time, certain years and minting errors have produced some highly sought-after coins. One of the most famous is the *1943 copper penny. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched from copper to zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for the war effort. However, a small number of copper blanks accidentally made it into the presses, resulting in a rare and valuable error coin. If you happen to come across a genuine 1943 copper penny, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars or more at auction. Another valuable coin is the *1955 double-die Lincoln penny asterisk, known for its distinctive doubling effect on the obverse side, where the date and lettering appear doubled. This error was caused by a misalignment during the minting process and is one of the most famous varieties among coin collectors. Depending on its condition, a 1955 double-die penny can fetch thousands of dollars. Other noteworthy rarities include the *1972 double-die penny asterisk, the *1969s double-die penny asterisk, and pennies with minting errors such as off-center strikes or missing features. So, how can you get started with Lincoln penny collecting? First, familiarize yourself with key dates and varieties, as well as the different mint marks. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mint mark for Philadelphia. Collectors often aim to build complete sets of Lincoln pennies, which can be a rewarding challenge given the long history of the coin. Checking your pocket change and rolls of pennies from banks can yield surprising finds, especially older wheat pennies or coins with minor errors. For serious collectors, investing in a good magnifying glass and reference books, such as the Red Book, a guidebook of United States coins, is essential. When evaluating the value of a Lincoln penny, condition is a crucial factor. Coins are graded on a scale from poor P1 to mint state MS70, with higher grades commanding higher prices. Look for pennies with sharp details, minimal wear, and no significant blemishes. Coins that have been cleaned or damaged typically lose value. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade your coins, providing a reliable assessment of their worth. In addition to traditional collecting, Lincoln pennies have found a niche in the world of artistic and creative endeavors. Some enthusiasts use them to craft stunning mosaics, jewelry, and home decor. This creative repurposing of pennies highlights their enduring appeal, even as their role as currency becomes less practical. Looking to the future, the fate of the penny remains uncertain. As we discussed in Part 3, rising production costs and the decline of cash transactions have led to calls for the penny's retirement. Countries like Canada, New Zealand, and Australia have already phased out their smallest denominations, opting to round transactions to the nearest 5 or 10 cents. Advocates for eliminating the penny argue that doing so would save the U.S. government millions of dollars annually. However, strong sentimental attachment to the penny, largely because of Lincoln's image, has made this a politically sensitive issue. If the penny were to be discontinued, it would mark the end of an era in American history. For over 100 years, the Lincoln penny has served as a daily reminder of one of the nation's greatest leaders and the values he championed. Whether it continues as a circulating coin or becomes a cherished relic, its legacy is secure. The Lincoln penny will always be a symbol of resilience, unity, and progress, much like the man whose image it bears. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the surprising story of why Abraham Lincoln is on the penny. If you enjoyed this series, please like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about history, coins, and American culture. Have a penny for your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know your favorite Lincoln penny story. Until next time, happy collecting and take care. Abraham Lincoln is not just remembered as one of the greatest American presidents, he's a symbol of unity, leadership, and the triumph of democracy over division. His place on the penny carries profound significance, representing the values he stood for and the enduring lessons of his presidency. In this part, we'll dive deeper into how Lincoln's image on the penny reinforces his legacy and why this small coin continues to hold symbolic meaning in American society. To understand why Lincoln's image resonates so strongly with Americans, it's essential to consider his leadership during the nation's most turbulent period, the Civil War. As the 16th President of the United States, Lincoln faced the immense challenge of preserving the Union while addressing the moral and political crisis of slavery. His commitment to equality and justice, famously articulated in the Gettysburg Address and his Emancipation Proclamation, transformed the nation. These values made him a natural choice for the first U.S. coin to feature a historical figure. The penny itself symbolizes humility and accessibility, qualities often associated with Lincoln. Unlike higher denominations such as the quarter or dollar coin, the penny is ubiquitous and accessible to everyone, reflecting Lincoln's image as a man of the people. Born in a humble log cabin in Kentucky, Lincoln's rise to the presidency exemplifies the American ideal that anyone, regardless of background, can achieve greatness. The penny's small size and low value make it a fitting tribute to a leader who embodied humility and service. Interestingly, the decision to place Lincoln on the penny came at a time when coins typically did not feature real people. Before 1909, allegorical figures such as Lady Liberty were more common on U.S. coinage. The shift to featuring Lincoln marked a turning point, setting a precedent for future coins to honor American heroes. By selecting Lincoln, the U.S. government made a powerful statement about the values it wanted to celebrate: unity, courage, and equality. The penny's widespread use also reinforces Lincoln's presence in the daily lives of Americans. Whether used in vending machines, for small purchases, or simply jingling in a pocket, the penny serves as a constant reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy. Its ubiquity ensures that his face remains one of the most recognizable symbols of American history. Beyond its practical use, the penny has found a place in art, education, and cultural traditions. Teachers often use pennies to teach children about math, history, and even chemistry when discussing the coin's changing composition over the years. Pennies have been incorporated into countless art projects, from mosaics to sculptures, highlighting their creative potential. One example of the penny's symbolic power can be found at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Tourists often bring pennies to leave at the foot of the memorial as a gesture of respect and remembrance. This act underscores the deep connection between Lincoln, the penny, and the ideals he championed. However, as discussed in previous parts, the penny has faced increasing scrutiny in modern times. Critics argue that it has become more of a symbolic relic than a practical currency. Despite these challenges, many Americans remain attached to the penny, in large part because of Lincoln's image. Removing the penny from circulation would not only mark the end of a long-standing tradition but could also diminish a small yet meaningful way that Lincoln's legacy is honored. In many ways, the debate about the penny mirrors broader discussions about how a society chooses to remember its past. Symbols matter, and the penny, however humble, serves as a reminder of the ideals that Lincoln fought for. As long as the penny remains in circulation, it will continue to tell the story of a leader who believed in the power of unity, democracy, and the inherent dignity of all people. In the next part, we will explore global perspectives on small denomination coins and how other countries have approached the challenge of modernizing their currency systems while preserving cultural and historical symbols. The design evolution, and the cultural importance of keeping this humble coin in circulation. But did you know that the debate over small denomination coins is not unique to the United States? Many countries around the world have faced similar discussions about the practicality and relevance of their smallest units of currency. In this part, we'll take a look at global perspectives, exploring how other nations have modernized their currency systems and what lessons the US might learn from their experiences. Several countries have already made the decision to phase out their lowest denomination coins. One of the most notable examples is Canada *, which discontinued the production of its penny in 2012. Rising production costs and the declining purchasing power of the penny led to this decision. Instead of using pennies, cash transactions in Canada are now rounded to the nearest 5 cents. This change was widely accepted by businesses and consumers, with minimal impact on daily transactions. Australia and New Zealand took similar steps even earlier. Australia phased out its 1 cent and 2 cent coins in the early 1990s, while New Zealand followed suit in 2006. Like Canada, both countries adopted rounding systems for cash transactions, and the transition was smooth. Interestingly, these changes did not lead to significant inflation, a concern often raised by opponents of eliminating small coins. Instead, consumers quickly adapted to the new system, and the absence of low-value coins became a non-issue. In Europe the Eurozone has also faced debates over its smallest coins, the 1 cent and 2 cent euro coins. While these coins are still in circulation, some countries within the Eurozone, such as the Netherlands and Finland, have effectively stopped using them by implementing rounding rules. This has streamlined cash transactions and reduced the cost of minting coins that are rarely used. One of the key lessons from these international examples is the importance of clear communication and public education during the transition. When small denomination coins are phased out, it's essential for governments to explain the rationale behind the decision and reassure consumers that rounding will be fair and transparent. In most cases, businesses are encouraged to round prices down rather than up, which helps maintain consumer trust. So why has the US been hesitant to follow this trend? One reason is the strong cultural attachment to the penny, largely due to Abraham Lincoln's image on the coin. As we've discussed in previous parts, Lincoln is a symbol of unity, leadership, and American values. For many people, retiring the penny would feel like a loss of heritage. Additionally, the penny plays a role in charitable fundraising efforts, such as penny drives, which rely on people donating their spare change. Another factor is the sheer volume of cash transactions in the US. While digital payments are on the rise, many Americans still rely on cash, particularly in rural and low-income areas. Eliminating the penny would require a significant adjustment for businesses and consumers alike. However, proponents of retiring the penny argue that the benefits outweigh the challenges. Phasing out the penny would save the US mint millions of dollars annually, as the cost of producing a penny far exceeds its face value. It would also simplify cash transactions and reduce the environmental impact of money.